so much for subscribing my channel. Hope you are utilizing this time of lockdown period to push up your research work, to do something related to research in the field of English literature if you're a student of English literature. I am in this video I have come up with a new topic. It's not actually new, but it's going to bring a variety into the topics that you're searching for your PhD thesis or for your research paper, and this is subaltern literature. So subaltern literature is one area of literature where research can be done, where research papers could be written. So let's try to explore, and I am going to focus on two main writers here, Mahashweta Devi and Pandita Ramabai. So these are the two writers of subaltern literature which we are going to see in this video, and in general we'll see what is subaltern literature and how research can be done in this field as well. So let's see. So we will see how subaltern literature can be explored in the field of research, whether you're writing thesis or research paper. Now subaltern, this term was coined by Antonio Gramsci in 1926. Before that, this term was not used in literature. So this was the term coined. So whatever literature has been written on the people which are considered as subaltern was considered only after 1926. That means in the 20th century. So basically the term subaltern means all those who are considered as inferior to the present class society. So if anybody is inferior in terms of money, in terms of wealth, status, so they will be subaltern. So basically the farmers or the workers who are, or the laborers who are working, they are considered as subaltern. And if a story or a novel or fiction is based on the lives of these people, the problems that they are facing, the workers, the laborers, the daily wagers, the farmers, then that particular story or fiction will be called as subaltern literature. So although since time immemorial stories have been written in 15th, 16th century, also stories have been written on this particular class of people and their problems, but this term subaltern was not used. It was only used after 1926 when Antonio Gramsci used it for the workers of Soviet Union. So after that, whatever literature is written on these downtrodden class is known as subaltern literature. Subaltern in Oxford also stands for subordination, someone who is inferior to you. So this is a post-colonial term. Now for Britishers, during the time of Britishers, Indians were subalterns. All the Indians were subalterns. Even after independence, the women were considered as subalterns because they were inferior to men. They were considered inferior to men in the society. Indians on the whole as a community were considered inferior to Britishers. So they were also subaltern. So all the literature that was written during the colonization period or post-colonial related to Indians and related to women were also included in subaltern literature. Nowadays, the status is changing. The Naxalite problem which is existing in India, in many states of Chhattisgarh and other regions, is also related to subaltern, and it is called a problem related to subaltern. And the novels written on Naxalite problems are also belonging to subaltern literature, because Naxalite problems is about the tribal people living in forest and how they are actually raising up arms against the government because they have been sidelined by the society, because they are economically backward, because they are uneducated, so they are subaltern. So this problem has also been raised in many novels of which is considered under subaltern literature. Now major writers of subaltern literature in India as well as abroad, as we can see, Mahashweta Devi, she's writing in Bangla. Then Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. Gayatri has translated many of the books of Mahashweta Devi and other books into English language, and she herself is an activist working for the subalterns. Then Aranjit Guha, Partha Chatterjee, Gyanendra Pandey. These are very significant names in the world of subaltern literature. These writers could be explored by you when you are writing a research paper. These writers could be explored by you if you want to do your thesis on subaltern literature. And the international level also we have Rosalind Hanson and Ewell Thomas. So these are also very famous writers of subaltern literature. Now we'll see about Mahashweta Devi. Now Mahashweta Devi is basically a writer who's writing in Bangla, and many of her novels have been transformed into movies, into television serials, and into dramas on theatre. And she is writing about these downtrodden class people, and very effectively she is able to stage the story of how they are suffering, and she is not just writing about the problem they are facing, she's also writing about how they are revolting and raising up arms against the upper class people, the so-called upper class people, and they have tried to, you know, establish their identity and not to be considered as subaltern, but they have strived hard to, you know, establish an identity and to come at par with the upper class people. So these are the stories, these are themes on which she's writing. Like Rudali is a very famous movie which has been made on a novel, or Hazar Chaurasi Ki Maa, this is also one of the movies, and also a television serial was made and it was staged on theatre. So Hazar Chaurasi Ki Maa. Then Draupadi, this is a very famous book which is a collection of short stories based on subaltern tribal belt people of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, and how women are exploited, or the tribal people are exploited by the police officers and they raise up arm against them. So this story has been very clearly depicted by Mahashweta Devi, and it has been translated into many languages. So this writer in these novels could be a topic of research and PhD thesis. Then yes, you can see the pic of Mahashweta Devi. She's a very well-known name. She has got many awards also, and she is an important name in the field of subaltern literature. Then Pandita Ramabai, this is another significant name, and this was she was actually born before independence, and so she has done a lot of work before independence. So she's the only woman scholar during her time period who got the title of Pandita. She was such an expert person who got educated, coming from the very poor family of Maharashtra, then getting educated and getting so much educated in Sanskrit that she got the title which no woman has got, and that is called Pandita. And then how she changed her religion to Christianity. She worked a lot for the women, and she formed Mukti mission in Maharashtra, in Pune, Maharashtra. The mission was working solely for the development, for education of women, because women are also considered as subaltern. Now this picture has changed. So now women are at par with men. They're educated, they're financially independent. But earlier it was not the case before independence and immediately after independence. So these kind of women who have, you know, set standards in the society and set an example for other women to follow, that during those times of where women were considered subaltern, these women have risen and tried to make a mark for themselves. So these are the books which Pandita Ramabai has written, her experiences when she went to other countries, her experiences when she went to America. So this is Pandita Ramabai's America Encounter. And there is this High Caste Hindu Women. So these books are written by Pandita Ramabai. Some of them have been translated. These books could also be topic of your research paper and your PhD thesis. So these are important writers. Nowadays we have Sudha Murthy and many other women who are writing on women, and they are not treating women as subaltern, but how women are revolting and rising and shining in the society, making a mark for themselves, but still their literature is also coming under subaltern literature, where the subaltern is no longer a downtrodden or exploited caste or class, but these subalterns, whether women or socially backward classes as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes or tribals living in forests, but they have risen themselves, they have got educated, they have made a mark for themselves in the society, and their position has drastically changed. So this is from my side for subaltern literature. I hope this video is of some help to you. Thank you so much for watching.